We'll start the session after the tea break. We have with us a very special guest, a senior Montessorian, Miss Meher Van Groenou. She is the director, Montessori Institute of Advanced Studies, MACTA accredited, affiliated with AMS, early childhood teacher credentialing program at AMS. She holds an MA in Montessori education from St. Mary's College, Gurgaon, California, and a master's in social work from the University of Michigan, as well as AMS early credentials from 1984 to 85. She's been a teacher since 1981 and a teacher trainer since 1986 in the US, Europe, and India. TRN mentor, researcher, author, and AMS workshop presenter. She's also the founder of the Montessori School of Hayward and the Montessori School at Five Canyons in Castro Valley, California. Founder of Golden Oak Montessori Charter School, Hayward, and co-chair board directors of Golden Oak Montessori School. Without further ado, Meher, please join us.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be with you all. India is where I was born, so it's not new, but I have lived outside India longer than I lived in India. So, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself so you know where this is coming from. Some years ago, I did a little research about Montessori's time in India. And she spent almost 10 years in India. And in Chennai, and I have done some training there of teachers that came from all over the place. Anyway, so it comes from the research that I did, and it's about really learning who Maria Montessori was from the people who had come to know her at Mario. And so what we will be talking about is what was the influence on Maria Montessori of India, on her, Indian philosophy and all that, and what was the impact of Maria Montessori on India itself. So we'll look at that, and hopefully it will make sense to you. Okay. That is Maria Montessori and Mario, her son. They were in England, and the president of Theosophical Society at that time, Mr. Arundel, was there, and they met. And Mr. Arundel said, "Madam, why have you not come to India?" And Maria said, "Because nobody has invited me yet." So they offered the invitation, and Montessori came there. The legend, so things I will tell you, they have come from the people who knew Maria Montessori or Mario. And they may not historically rank by dates and time and so forth, but these are people's stories. So. And they said that when she came, she always dressed dark clothes, black or gray, because Maria was still mourning her mother's passing. When she came to India, she loved the colors that she saw. I mean, do we ever dress black anymore other than when they're mourning? So she really liked that, and she changed. She also learned to wear sari and very colorful clothes and so on. So that's the story. Thanks. And as you know, no story is complete unless we get the information from everybody else. If I asked you, who is Nidhi, I only know very little about her. But if I ask every one of you, then I get a better picture of her, right? So my research was, because I really wanted to know who this Maria Montessori was. I had read a lot, I had Montessori school, I had a Montessori teacher education program. So no story is complete till you have everybody's story together. And that's what weaves the cloth of time. So this is what we will do. About the period that Montessori was in India, Mario, her son, said that looking back on the checkered life of Dr. Montessori, there is a period that looms above the others for its dramatic nature, and the completion she attained in her vast vision is the period spent in India. So you can see that there was a lot of influence, and if you read her philosophy, you can see, really look at it. Okay, that came from Indian thinking, this came from, our beliefs and so forth. So, in my presentation, we'll hear their voices of these people who had met Mario and Maria. There they are. When they landed in Chennai with Arundel and his wife and Maria Montessori. Maria met sorry, I got distracted because I was Gandhi and Tagore, both. And they both had a lot of influence on her. Because Gandhi's whole philosophy of non-violence, peace, education, all that. And not only that she took things from who she met, but also she read a lot. So if she, learned about some philosopher, then she read them. For example, Krishnamurti, Tagore, Gandhi, of course, and so forth. So in her philosophy, we see a lot of influence of all these people. And Maria incorporated all those ideas in her philosophy. What are those ideas that she incorporated? So you'll see all these terms when you talk about Montessori, or in your training you may have heard. Cosmos and all things are connected. And where do you think that idea came from? And of course, she could have thought of it, but I think some of these were influenced by the Indian philosophy, so forth. Cosmic task. We are all born with a task. We are here, and if we don't complete out that task, we'll be reincarnated, right? So that whole idea she got. And every action has a consequence. And taking the responsibility of our action. Sometimes whenever I come to India, I see some things people do, and I say, wow, how does that make a difference? So the other day we were walking in the bazaar, and this old man is feeding the ants. He's putting things there. And Jains do that a lot. It's just, we are superior being in cosmos, and we need to take care of everything around us. And that idea. The thing that had really struck me, and I interviewed one of the persons who really took care of Maria Montessori. His name was Swami Nachiappan. interesting thing that when I met him, he was already wearing the orange robe. But in his real life, he was a photographer. And he took many beautiful black and white pictures of not only Maria's, but also in Kalakshatra, and has published many books and beautiful pictures. And it was very clear when he said, well, 4 stages, 4 planes of development. Of course, we believe in 4 planes of development. And he gave the example how we Hindus believe childhood, adulthood, middle, and then you leave all attractions back and become a Swami. He said, no, I'm in my 4th plane of development, I'm a Swami. And that's how Maria may have taken the idea of those 4 planes of development. She talks about at every plane of development, a reincarnation happens. A child becomes someone else. It's a rebirth or something else. Where did she get that, right? So rebirth and incarnation from one plane to another. Karma is, of course, we all know that term very well. But that whatever the child does now affects him in the long run. And it may not be next lifetime, but those karma will come back. Just look at the world. We have used up all the resources of the world, and now it's heating up. That's our karma. So every action has a consequence, and that comes from her responsibility, because we are at a higher level of good. And any other you guys can tell me? Yeah.
So, I started learning about scriptures, Gita. And in the 18th chapter, which is the last chapter, after explaining everything to Arjuna, Krishna says, you have a choice to believe what I say or do what you want. The freedom of choice. Whenever I got introduced at Nature's Classroom, the Montessori philosophy, and when I was reading, I could actually connect. It's just in Krishna and Montessori symbols.
Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, so there were so many. Anything else anybody would like to say?
Maria Montessori, when she was in India, at that time, she saw how the mothers carry their babies in their back when they're picking up the tea leaves. So she felt like the connection between the mother and the child, and she wanted the children to see everything in real life. Like, in Montessori we say, okay, the child should be exposed to real life situation. The mom is working, the child should be seeing how she's cooking and doing things. So she somewhere, I can't remember which book she talks about a lot about how she learned the mother and the child connection.
Thank you. So what I want to say is, this is not the end of it. I want you to think about it. When you're reading Montessori philosophy, think about it, where it could have come from. And it's not necessary that then we say, oh, this is Indian concept, so we have to be proud of it. That's not the idea. We're trying to understand the educator and how we can create new concepts that when Gandhi was negotiating with the big mill owners, the labor conflict, he said, no, we're all going to sit in one room at the same table, and we will figure out the solution. And I feel that that is carried on to Montessori classroom and a peace table and teaching children how to resolve conflict. Gandhi was so wonderful about that. He would sit and argue with the Sararais, but then when the meeting was over, he said, let's go have dinner together. Let's have a thali, and so forth. So, so already said that. And this is a very important point, I think, that Gandhi felt that India couldn't handle itself unless it becomes self-reliant. So all her materials are self-educating and child becomes independent by learning. The other point, I think, which Gandhi provided a good example, is creating a community. So when you go visit the Gandhi ashram or read about him, the important thing to him was, let's all be together and help. The morning prayer of Gandhi ashram is, the civilized person is who can understand the compassion or the pain of everyone. And that was his morning prayer. So creating community together, treating everyone equally, caring for everyone, that was very important. This is a picture of Montessori's very early school in Italy. And going back to the nature, how nature was brought in, already Jeffrey has talked about it. So that's another school. This picture really fascinates me. The traffic was going crazy all around him. There's a little mandir under the tree, and he's reading a newspaper. So learning can happen anywhere. Of course, we have to create a good environment, but that is an environment for him. Maybe he doesn't get time to read a newspaper at home, so under the tree is a good place. When Gandhi and Montessori met, they agreed and affirmed that if we are to teach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with children. Do we believe that? Yes. That's the strongest point of Maria Montessori. Gandhi advocated social responsibility. Montessori incorporated that into her method as the once cosmic task. So we all have cosmic tasks. We need to pay attention to it and say, okay, what am I doing in the world? What's my reason? We say, okay, what is this child all about? What is his inner being? And that's our job as a Montessori teacher. We need to find out what gifts he is holding, she is holding, and we need to develop that. Hindu philosophy of one Atma and that all things are connected in the world is expressed in taking responsibility of one's action. So everything is connected, no matter what you do. It's all connected. And it comes back to us. That is what incarnation is, or karma is. That it comes back to us. This, I thought, was such a beautiful picture. This little girl is putting so carefully the flower on the statue. Next. The other person that influenced Montessori's philosophy is Krishnamurti, and he advocates freedom in learning environment, freedom of choice is the cornerstone of Montessori's method. We know that. Observation is essential. That's what Krishnamurti says. He says, look at yourself. Look at your inner being. Observe yourself. And so observation becomes self-awareness. Montessori teaches use of observation as the most important scientific tool. And creating a supportive and non-competitive environment is parallels the nurture and collaborative learning environment. Okay, I'll go a little faster because I think my time is up. Impact of Montessori's philosophy on India. Indian educators began to see the importance of experiential learning. That was, we have started to understand that and take it in. Montessori introduced the idea of child-centered education, promoting self-directed learning with a prepared environment, catering to children's needs appropriate to their developmental level, and more holistic and engaging approach. Shreya's school in Ahmedabad is a great example of an educational method that has incorporated several of Montessori's principles together with Tagore, Krishnamurti, and Gandhi's principle. So I'm sure there are others and other things that you could think about. Anyone would like to say? Yeah.
Just to finish off real quick about Dr. Montessori, I believe she was nominated for the Nobel Prize 3 times. Yes. So just to honor her, that this was an incredible woman. That actually it's sad that very few people are practicing her philosophy, when in fact it's such a beautiful method of reaching children. Thank you.
So will you stay Montessorian? Yes. If you don't have Montessori teacher education yet, make sure you get it. Because it's not a separate philosophy. It is what you all already know. It's part of our culture. Thank you.